Hey there everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Rama, and in today's video, I'll be explaining why the F-160 Raiju is not a good purchase if you are a beginner or a player that hasn't put an insane amount of time into GTA Online. Now I know that some of you watching the video already have tens of billions of dollars lying in your account. Whether you earned it or not doesn't really matter. The point being, if you already have a lot of money in your account and you own a Raiju and you own an Akula, well, clicking on this video may not be for you. But for people that don't have a Raiju and don't have a lot of things in the game, and you're thinking, man, I've seen so many YouTube videos saying the Raiju is the best jet in the game, it's the fastest, it's got homing missiles, it's got a stealth mode. And it is good, don't get me wrong, it is a very, very good jet, and it is a fantastic late-game purchase. But I can guarantee that the Raiju is not a good purchase if you don't have a huge amount of vehicles available to you, especially aircraft. The major reason why is simply the price tag. Scrolling over to Warstock Cash and Carry, we can see the Raiju is available for $6.855 million, with the trade price at $5.14. Now, the only way to get the trade price is to own an Avenger, and then purchase the terminal inside of the Avenger, which is like $1.5 million, and then complete the whole mission set, and then you get the trade price. The missions suck, it's not worth your time. I think every other YouTuber said this as well. If you want the Raiju, you just buy it without the trade price, which means you're going to be spending, well, $6.8 million. And then there's also upgrades, which are liveries, handling, armor. In total, you're looking at around $7 million to get your hands on an F-160 Raiju, which is absolutely insane when you think about it. When you could buy an Akula. And the Akula has the exact same stealth capabilities, features homing missiles, and is also half the price at $3.4 million. But that's the trade price. I'm not exactly sure how much it is without the trade price. Maybe 4.5. Usually it's about $1 million or so more. But to get the trade price, you have to complete the Doomsday Heists, which actually pay you pretty good money. Now, the Akula, as I mentioned, has stealth capabilities as well. So as we can see, when we open our weapons here, I have a machine gun. It is not an explosive machine gun, unfortunately. But you have a machine gun, and then you have homing missiles. And then if I put the little compartment away, as we can see, I do not have the ability to use weapons. Now, something that is very cool about the Akula is that it actually has bombs, which I don't know if a lot of people know this, but yes, it does actually have bombs, which you can drop, as we can see, and pretty dang cool that you do have that ability on the Akula if you ever need to use it. So you have stealth mode, you have bombs, you have homing missiles, and by the way, they are spammable homing missiles. So while you may not have an explosive machine gun like the Raiju, you do have the ability to just keep spamming homing missiles at whatever's coming after you. I should also mention the Akula can survive 3 homing missiles before it gets blown up, which is around the same that the Raiju, give or take, is going to survive, which is also quite nice. So this is one of the first reasons why there's really no point to buy the Raiju, right? The Raiju is twice the price as the Akula. And when it comes to completing missions, you're really not going to need the Raiju for much. I mean, you know, a lot of people buy the Raiju. I'm like, what do you need the explosive machine gun for, though? It's a lot easier to just whip out homing missiles and just blast whatever it is with homing missiles. Now, maybe if you're trying to get into a dogfight with an enemy player, then I can understand pulling out the Raiju and using the explosive MG. But that's where other aircraft come into play. See, if we fast travel back over to my hangar, you'll notice that I don't just have my Raiju in here. I actually have quite a few aircraft. And the Akula and the Rogue added together are still only around $5 million, leaving you an additional $2 million of spending cash. The Rogue right now is on sale, but even if it's not, comes in at a price tag of around $1.2 million. And it's incredibly easy to get the trade price. You just need to source like 6 crates from your hangar, which is incredibly easy. We can see the Rogue right here. Now, the Rogue is the 3rd fastest aircraft in the game. It's only about 15 miles per hour slower than the Raiju. It goes like 220 miles per hour. It's insanely fast. The Rogue has insane handling, way more precise handling than the Raiju. I see a lot of people complain all the time that the Rogue is not very good because its handling is too, jittery. You can see that here, like it's too jittery. But my reply is that you have multiple handling options inside of the customization bay, and if you don't like the fact that it, turns too fast, you can put it on sport handling or smooth handling, and then it'll turn more like this instead of, like this. So that is something to keep in mind. Now, as we can see, the Rogue does feature an explosive machine gun. Not only does it have an explosive machine gun, it features homing missiles. Not only does it have homing missiles, but it has flares. Guess what? The Raiju does not have flares, which is something to keep in mind. I should also mention the Rogue can survive 4 homing missiles before being blown up, and it can seat 2 people instead of 1. If you're ever in a situation where you need to be in a dogfight, or you need to use anything, the Rogue is going to be an easy way to just destroy whatever it is, and then, well, crash into a building, but that's my fault. Point being, the Rogue is your dogfighting aircraft. If you need it, you can buy it. It's an incredibly cheap purchase, and it's one of the best aircraft in the game, especially if you are a beginner. And then you can also buy an Akula for $3.4 million. So that's, you know, all the upgrades and everything around $5 million with those 2 purchases. And that still leaves you an additional $2 million to mess around with. And with those $2 million, you can easily purchase another very, very good item. Something like, I don't know, a Stromberg, for example. But hey, if you don't want to get a Stromberg, save up an additional $1 million and you can get your hands on something like a Toreador or a Deluxo. And congratulations. Now, with just a little bit of extra grinding, you've managed to get your hands on a Toreador, a Akula, and a Rogue. So you have a car which has unlimited homing missiles and can survive a bunch of capabilities. You have a jet, or not a jet, I should just say a propeller plane, because the Rogue is not a jet, but you have a propeller plane which can easily deal with anything around you. And you also have a stealth helicopter, which basically has the same capabilities as a Raiju. The only difference is that it doesn't fly as fast. If you ask me, that is a much smarter way to spend your money than blowing all of it on one single jet. You can let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments down below. But at the end of the day, the best way of playing GTA is to make your money stretch. You know, why buy a super expensive supercar that has the same capabilities as a pretty average sports car when you could buy the average sports car, which is cheaper, and then buy something else as well? And that's what I always say. Now, as always, if you do really want to get the Raiju, there's no problems with that. As I always say as well, it's your money, it's your game, and you can experience it any way you want. But I'm just telling you that in my personal opinion, I feel like the Raiju really is talked up a lot more than it is in its capabilities. Yes, it's great. Yes, it's fast. But 90% of the time, I don't really use the stealth, because what do you need the stealth for, just out of curiosity? Are you trying to, like, sneak attack somebody? Are we going to, like, Pearl Harbor the enemy? I'm just not exactly sure what the point of the stealth would be on a jet that has the level of speed and capabilities the Raiju does. I guess the only reason, as I said, would be to try and sneak up on somebody, but I feel like the only people that are going to do that are people trying to grief. If you don't really plan on sneak attacking somebody, then you'll be just as good off with a Hydra, to be entirely honest, and the Hydra's about half the price with the exact same capabilities, including homing missiles and just about everything. But again, you can let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. If you agree, let me know. And if you liked today's video and this helped you out, please consider smashing that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!